Lawmakers have started talks to avoid another government shutdown.
Yeah, today House Democrats proposed a new border security plan, but it contains no money for President Donald Trump's border wall. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan has the latest on the negotiations.
Yeah. And right now it looks like in Washington they have a political freeze going on at the moment, with only a couple of weeks to go before another possible government shutdown, and the two sides apparently standing firm, that is to say about as far apart as the Grand Canyon on the border wall funding issue. House Democrats proposed that new border security plan today that contains not one penny for a wall or any kind of physical barrier construction at the border. Not exactly what the president is demanding. In the first meeting of a bipartisan Senate-House committee designed to find a way out of the border wall government shutdown deadlock, there were plenty of rah-rah declarations.
We can reach a bipartisan agreement, fund our government, secure our country and our borders.
But the 8 Republicans and 9 Democrats on the committee only have 16 more days until February 15th to hammer out an agreement and resolve the border issue or face another possible government shutdown. And with time running out, neither side seemed willing to make any compromise on border wall construction funding at the first meeting. President Trump set the tone this morning, tweeting, "If the committee of Republicans and Democrats now meeting on border security is not discussing a wall or physical barrier, they are wasting their time." A few hours later, committee member Congressman Pete Aguilar, a Democrat from San Bernardino, responded in kind.
The evidence has shown us that a coast-to-coast border wall is neither practical nor effective towards securing our borders. We've seen that walls can and will be tunneled under, cut through, or scaled. We cannot focus on archaic solutions in order to address this very modern problem. Technology works for securing this border.
Another California Democrat, Congresswoman Lucille Roybal-Allard, chairs the Appropriations Subcommittee on Homeland Security. She also took a hard line against funding the wall.
The issue is not only that the president is proposing to spend $5.7 billion on border barriers. It is that there are serious Homeland Security vulnerabilities for which we will have no funding if the president gets his request.
But Republicans, like Senate Appropriations Committee Chairman Richard Shelby, insist that at least some border wall funding must be a significant part of any final agreement.
Our Border Patrol tells us that they need physical barriers to help them do their job, not from coast to coast, but strategically placed where traffic is highest. It's unfortunate that this issue has become so politicized. That has not always been the case, even up until pretty recently.
I want to be candid with my friends. I do think we need a wall, a physical barrier, where the barrier works.
Oakland Congresswoman Barbara Lee pointed out that while the task at hand will certainly not be easy, there's a lot riding on the committee finding a long-term solution to the border wall standoff and preventing another disastrous government shutdown.
And even though we have a temporary solution and resolution, temporary, families are still wondering if they will be able to count on future paychecks to pay the bills, feed their kids, and keep a roof over their heads.
Now, President Trump has threatened that if the committee doesn't produce a solution he can live with, which means at least some border wall construction funding, he may shut down the government again or could declare a national emergency to sort of go around Congress and order the military to build the wall. So, Crystal, it's starting to look like this could be going right down to the wire.
Okay, thank you, Dave.